the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. Now this isn't a new drone, but what I am going to get into properly is HQ mode and FOV. If you are new to the channel, please consider subscribing. I do cinematic content and everything along our YouTube journey, so we would appreciate it if you stayed. Now, just before I get into some test footage, I want to quickly explain why this will make a difference, because there's a lot of people out there that don't really understand. Now, the DJI Mavic 2 Pro films in 4K. To get 4K, you actually only need an 8 megapixel sensor because that is the plus minus resolution of 4K. However, the DJI Mavic 2 Pro has a 20 megapixel sensor, meaning from this side to this side, it's just over 5,500 pixels, meaning it's actually a 5.5K sensor. Now in FOV mode, it would use that entire sensor, what the lens projects onto it, and record it. However, you don't get 5.5K footage. So what DJI actually does is they record every second pixel, meaning they record in 2.7K and upscaling to 4K. Now in another video, I'll get to actually checking if it really is 4K or is it actually 2.7K. But for this test, we're going to compare FOV versus HQ. Now HQ is actually just the centerpiece of this massive sensor, meaning the 8 megapixel taken out of the center. So if you are recording a shot and you flip from FOV mode to HQ, it will significantly crop in. Now according to DJI, HQ mode is supposed to give you the highest quality. So in order to test that out, I went to the perfect location, a building with lots of windows and a place where I was allowed to fly. Check this out. Now ideally, to get this right and make sure the test is perfect, you would have to get your first HQ shot where the sensor is cropped in and fly your drone further back, and then when you switch to FOV, field of view mode, you would fly your drone closer. That way your shot would be framed exactly the same, if you understand what I'm saying. This would be the only way that you can actually test if the clarity is identical. It's no good leaving the drone in the same spot and flipping between FOV and HQ mode, as you significantly changing the crop factor of your final image. So this is a bit more of a real world test, so check this out. So here you have 4K HQ mode, so the drone is quite far back and it's cropped in, doing a full pixel readout. Here you have FOV mode, so it's basically filming the full sensor, switching off every second pixel. This is a 300% cropping of HQ mode to see the clarity, and this is a 300% cropping of FOV mode. Here's a side-by-side comparison of HQ and FOV mode. And this is a 800% cropping of HQ mode, and this is an 800% cropping of FOV mode. Now I'll do a side-by-side comparison as well as a freeze frame for you. So on your left is HQ mode and the right is FOV. There's a line down the center that shows you the split. And here's a freeze frame. Now have a look at the window frame as well as the joining line on the wall and see how clear it is. Here I'll actually remove the black line and you can see clearly that HQ mode is a lot sharp and a lot more refined. Quite a thunderstorm outside. I don't know if the mic's actually picking it up, but typical Johannesburg. Now just looking at the clarity of the two may determine just the quality of the image, but HQ and FOV mode actually has very different uses. Now it's quite sad that there's a significant difference in clarity, as you'd use FOV mode in a totally different scenario as you would HQ mode. So to explain the difference between the two, the easiest way I can do it is to use what you would call an example of parallax. Now I'm going to put a clip in here of a wedding just to kind of show you what parallax means. Now parallax happens when you have a stationary object or a moving object and the camera would move around, and that way your background would also travel at a different speed than the camera would because of the distances that aren't the same and the subject is keeping still. Sounds very confusing, but as soon as you move a camera around something or you watch a movie, you'll understand exactly what parallax is. What I'm going to do is I'm going to fly the drone quite far back and do a shot using HQ mode of the building, and then I'm going to fly the drone a bit closer to get the same crop factor and film using FOV mode so you can see the difference in parallax. So here's HQ mode. Just watch the background as it moves around, and obviously the background may appear a little bit closer to the actual building in the front. And yeah, the background seems a lot smaller because of the field of view of the lens, because it's a lot wider. So technically the one may move faster than the other, but it's also a slightly different look. and you could also speed up the drone and make the one look faster, or just do a speed ramp, whatever you decide to do. However, HQ mode does bring your background a little bit closer to your subject, as the lens isn't that wide based on the positioning of your drone to the building. I hope that makes sense. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this little video. You can clearly see that HQ mode is clearly better on the DJI Mavic 2 Pro, and I am going to be uploading a video shortly where I compare 2.7K versus FOV 4K, and we can actually check if DJI is really upscaling this with some magic into 4K, or if it's just actually plain 2.7K. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Wherever you are in the world, have a good day, good evening, good night, goodbye.